Hello, everybody. Welcome to It Was Tuesday with your host, James Chen, aka J. Chenzor. At the risk of seeming like I'm cribbing topics from Sajam over here, he just recently put up a video where he asked why people think Blanka is top tier. I haven't seen it yet, but people in my chat were talking about it. And that just makes me want to talk about this just a little bit over here because for one very, very specific reason, and that is I've been saying that Blanka is top tier since the very, very beginning, okay? I'm not just a Mena RD bandwagoner here, okay? I've been saying that this character is ridiculous since the game came out. In fact, at one point in time, even before Mena was really playing him, I had Blanka in like top 4. I was just like, there's no way that this character is bad. He has so much potential. He has all these tools and he's so unexplored. He's one of the characters that I feel like has the most continual upgrowth, the continual potential growth. So, clearly he's a strong character, but you know what? It all just comes down to one thing, and it's always been one thing, and this is what me and Olaf always like to talk about, which is the Blanka is a joke character kind of problem, right? Blanka has lost whatever level of badassery that he had in the past. Like in hyper fighting days, he was this evil monster and you were like, oh, he's so cool, look at this monster. But since then, Capcom kind of went down this path where they started turning him to a more of a joke character, really defining itself in the Alpha 3 era, right? Alpha 3 is where he all of a sudden he had the watermelon super and, he used the blender, he broke out of the truck, he became friends with Dan, blah, 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 blah. But let me tell you something right now, and this is what me and Olaf say all the time. If Blanka was a hot girl, everybody would be playing this character. Everybody would be playing the character and everybody would know how cheap he is. But it's just that he's so silly looking that a lot of people just don't take this character seriously. But there's basically, if you go through the list of everything that a character needs to be top tier, Blanka has basically all of it and a little bit more on top of that. He has one of the best level 2s. He doesn't care if you block it or if you actually get hit by it. His Blanka Chan gives him 7,000 mix-ups all the time. They reset every round. Every time he hits you with a Blanka Chan, he drains 60% of your life or some crazy amount like that. He has an ODDP. He has an anti-throw move that's plus on block. What the heck, dude? This character basically has just about everything. He's even got a crouching medium kick into drive rush. Although his crouching medium kick doesn't reach as far as a lot of other characters, he at least still has it. And secondly, his crouching medium punch also cancels the drive rush and is amazing. He's got crazy anti-air, etc., etc. Yeah, Nemo is playing him right now. Sajam, I saw him tweet he was like, actually it makes sense now that Blanka is kind of like the new Urian. Urian players probably need to go to this character over here. Dude, he has so much stuff. He's so good. And Nemo, if he's actually going to go to Evo Japan and play Blanka, I wouldn't be surprised if he won with that character. I saw Mena tweet that he thought Blanka was top 3. Now, I don't know if that was a joke tweet or if he was being sarcastic or if he was being serious, but Mena's not the person that I see throw stuff out like that jokingly, but I can't remember how close it was to April Fool's, so I'm not sure if it was just a joke or not. But honestly, Blanka his upside is too good. And like I said, the biggest weakness that Blanka has is that he is a character that a lot of people can't take seriously, right? It took someone like Mena RD to get people to take Birdie seriously because Birdie was also kind of a joke character in Street Fighter 5. There is something to be said about the way characters look and how people interpret them. When Gold Lewis first dropped in in Guilty Gear Strive, people just assumed he was bad because he was big and fat, and that was it. Like they were just like, oh, weird, okay, whatever. Turns out that that character was kind of good after, and especially after he got some buffs and such. But he even got some nerfs early on to make it so that his guard break wasn't even as terrifying. But you know, this is the thing. A lot of characters are overlooked because of the way they look and the way they play. Visually popular, you know, visual style and flair goes a lot for character popularity and character usage, honestly. How does Blanka represent the new Urian? Is, you know, level 2 is kind of like an Aegis Reflector kind of. Actually, no, Blanka Chan is like an Aegis Reflector because you throw it out on top of people and now they just have to guess. And basically, you're dead. He's got a super fast charge, safe on block. You know, obviously, you've got perfect parries and such that can stop it. But he's just got so many tools that are just so strong. Like I just don't understand how people did not think this character was good when the game first dropped. Honestly, it's still just an absolute wild take to me. I have him in my top 5 right now. In fact, the last night I was trying to put together a tier list, and I actually put Blanka as number 3 currently. I currently have him at number 3, and he might even go up higher than that because I'm starting to understand where some of the Chen players are coming from. Now, I don't think Chen is top, like, 7th, but Chen not being top 2 is something that actually makes a lot of sense, right? Because as the game is developing and we're finding out what's really, really strong, you know, there is this sign that Chen is kind of dropping a little bit because, you know, you don't see as much Chen success. And most of the Chen players have been moving on to Luke because Luke is just ridiculously strong. And, you know, I will preface a lot of this by saying that a lot of my, quote, originally hot takes, no longer hot takes on Blanka, really come from the fact that I'm a Kimberly player. And anything anybody says about Kimberly doesn't apply because Blanka exists. Because Blanka exists. Everyone's like, Kimberly does not deserve an ODDP because of how strong her offense is. Blanka exists. Everybody that I've talked to who have said that, like, Kim doesn't deserve blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, Blanka. And they're like, yeah, you got me there. Because his Blanka Chan is 10,000 times scarier than any spray can that Kimberly uses. She has to refill even between rounds. She only gets 1 mix-up off of her spray cans. And she has no ODDP, and Blanka has crazy range on buttons, an air OD move that is plus on block. He's got better anti-airs than Kim does. That on counter hit, his standing heavy kick leads to a big old combo anyway. He has everything. And yes, he can throw in the Blanka Chan. The setups are very, very specific. But yes, he can actually throw you and continue the combo off of Blanka Chan on very, very specific setups. For people who say that Kim doesn't need an ODDP, she has to be stronger than Blanka on offense, which currently she is significantly weaker because when Blanka hits you with a Blanka Chan setup, it's usually 40 to 50% damage, and he sometimes can set up another one. He has a level 2 super. I don't care what anybody says. Kimberly does not have a level 2 super. And not only that, but dude, like, yeah, Kim, she starts at 90% damage. She has to hit you like 4 times. Blanka hits you twice and you die. Blanka hits you twice and you are dead. So, in my opinion, I really think, like, if you are telling me that Kimberly does not need an ODDP, she has to be so ridiculously offensively strong, stronger than Blanka is on offense, for that to be justified. So again, a lot of my frustrations with Blanka comes from the fact that there's just this stark comparison between the two characters. Clearly, Blanka does everything Kimberly wants to do, but 1,000 times better. So the question is, does Blanka need nerfs at this point? Are we all wrong? Why? Or is he really actually not that good? You know, it's tough because, like I said, I have Luke as number 1. I have Ken as number 2. And I legit have Blanka as number 3 now. Like, as time has gone on, I actually think Blanka has gotten stronger, which is what I kind of expected. And to be fair, I used to have him at number 4 only because JP I had higher than Blanka, and JP has since been nerfed. Not a lot, but the crouching heavy punch and the amnesia nerfs are huge, right? So I actually have dropped JP down to about number 6. Because right now my tier list really kind of goes Luke, Ken, and then like I said, I have the potential of moving Ken down a little bit. But then Blanka, Chen, DJ, and then JP, and then Cammy. That's my top tier right there. I have 7 characters in the de facto top tier area. These are clearly like the super crazy characters that you can swap around and everybody's right? Yeah, this just basically is just what it comes down to. But, you know, there are people out there who will actually try to argue with you that Blanka's not that good, like that he's strong, but he's like 7th, 8th or something. And I think that's absolute insanity. Again, I've been saying this character is broken since the game dropped, okay? People who know me have known that I've been saying that Blanka is ridiculous. Because what is his weakness? That's the real question. What is his weakness? You know, only Blanka Ball and Up Ball are charge moves. Everything else is not a charge move. Everything else is a motion now. Electricity is a motion. Rainbow Ball is a motion. Blanka Chan is a motion. Yeah, projectiles. That's the only legit weakness that I've heard Blanka has is projectiles. Is that he has a little bit of problems with projectiles. But the thing about it is, he's also very Marisa-like, right? If he gets the right setup into the corner, he doesn't have to guess right that many times to kill you. Now, on top of everything, he does almost as much damage as Marisa does on a proper setup. And sometimes he doesn't even need to use as many resources as Marisa. He can do some crazy Blanka Chan setup, mix up into a level 1 super, and he's drained like over 50% of your life. Whereas if Kimberly gets a can setup on you, if I spend the most at a level 1, the most damage she can get is usually around 3,000 damage. Like, seriously, after the spray can bombs, everything gets scaled to shit. And Kimberly just doesn't have very good juggles. She has to spend so many resources just to even get like 4,000 damage. It's wild. And so I don't understand. And again, you know, like I'm sure if you watch Sajam's video, he'll talk about a lot more about, you know, things that make Blanka really strong. And, you know, admittedly, as a heart player, I'm always an eye test kind of guy, right? Like, you give me, I mean, I'll bring it up again, apologies, but, you know, you talk about the MJ versus LeBron, you know, argument there. Fans will bring out stats all day. Stats, numbers. And I'm just not a believer in that. I just don't believe that. Like, I'm the eye test kind of guy. Like, numbers and stats never tell the whole story. And so that's kind of how I feel about Blanka. When I look at Blanka, I just look at him and I'm like, there's no way this character can be bad. He has everything, you know. He's just so super strong. Is Blanka challenging to learn? Would that be a factor why people don't try him for longer than average and stop playing him? Not really, because Honda has the same problem. Honda has the same problem, because if you actually have talked to Ultra David before, he'll do things with Honda and top players are like, wow, I didn't know Honda could do that. Wow, that's really good with Honda. And it's just that when the low level strategy of charge, butt slam, works so well, and then it stops working, a lot of people don't take the time to continue to develop that. Not only that, but also Blanka is, Honda, again, like Blanka, is not a visually appealing character, right? Neither of those characters have that, I like to play the badass, or I like to play the hot girl. Like, neither of those characters have that factor, right? So the people who play them, that's why even in 5 and 4 and in 6, we used to always joke, there's a certain type of person that actually plays Blanka. Like, you're always like, you have to be a troll to play Blanka. You just have to be. Like, you have to be the kind of person who just likes to you just like to be an asshole when you're playing Blanka. And, not to, be like promote stereotypes, but it was kind of true. A lot of people who actually played Blanka were like very troll kind of players. And, not a lot of people would try them and take them seriously. And so it's not that Blanka's hard to play. It's just that at the low levels, it's very easy to win with him by using very simplistic tactics. So that by the time you get to the mid level, if you don't advance your game, when people start getting good at blowing up those mid level tactics, it becomes discouraging for a lot of the Blanka and Honda players because, their basic tactics stop working. And so you don't see a lot of players get stronger with those characters, because when you pick them and start winning them with that at first, there is an element of being carried at the lower levels. When we looked at the Buckler's Boot Camp website, let me bring that up here, because there's going to be some significance over here. Excuse me. Let's go over here. Let's see. Game info characters. What is it? Where am I looking for? Stats. That's what I'm looking for. Fighting stats. Battle diagrams here. Let us go to Rookie over here. As you look in Rookie over here, let's combine totals over here. Zangief has the highest win rate at 6.5. Then second is Marisa at 5.8. Honda's number 3 at 5.8 as well. So Marisa's 5.86. Honda's 5.80. Blanka's at 5.4. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters down. But again, these are characters that generally can, and again, I'm not trying to insult anyone who's using them at the lower levels, but their archetype have the ability to carry beginners because other beginners cannot handle the charge moves, which is why I've always said Blanka and Honda are 2 of the hardest characters to balance properly. If you actually look in most fighting games, they either really suck or they're really good. It's hard because those charge type moves are really, really hard to balance. And yeah, look at this. Harv says Honda and Blanka appeal to me. And yes, I have a little bit of that troll spirit in me, that's the thing. But the crucial thing about Blanka is that a lot of top players don't take him seriously, or they don't think of him. I don't think that they don't take him seriously, because when they fight a Blanka, they're like, I know this character is strong. The problem is that, a lot of people don't think like, I need to pick a strong character that has a lot of tools that I can win with. What about Blanka? Like, people just don't look that direction. And it's because of his aesthetic and his visual appeal and the way that he's presented, in my opinion. Like, if he was more vicious monster-like, with no jokey aspects about him, I bet you people would play him more. Like I said, if he was a hot girl, people would play him more, kind of situation. So again, I just don't know how people don't see Blanka's really, really good. And I don't want, like I said, go watch the Sajam video for discussions of what makes Blanka good. And for me right now, I just mostly want to talk about why people aren't playing Blanka and why some people don't take him as seriously. But a lot of people are coming around now. I really, really think people are coming around and starting to realize how good this character is. I don't think anybody will even argue with you when you say that Blanka is top tier at all anymore. If I sit there and I go Blanka's top 5, I don't think anybody's gonna be like, "You're crazy, James." Like I encountered like months ago, like a few months ago, I was like, "Dude, Blanka is like top 5," and everyone's like, "Are you crazy? Like, how can he be better than blah and blah and blah and blah?" It's crazy. Like, to me, that people, I don't think anybody would argue with me anymore. I just really don't. But again, the lesson really here to learn here is that we have to examine all the characters fairly and closely. Because again, clearly Blanka is an extremely, extremely strong character. And I think he was underexplored at first. And I think a lot of it came, I remember after Evo, like when Mena RD was doing damage with Blanka at Evo, I was like, dude, if we get Mena RD with like Wolfgang tech, like if you get someone as fundamental as Mena RD and start giving him all of the Wolfgang tech, like I think that's the end of the story right there. Like I think that's unbeatable. And now, as we see it, Mena is learning a lot of that Wolfgang tech. And I don't know, man. Like, at Red Bull Kumite, he looked almost impossible to beat. Mena RD, 5-1 Gachakun, 5-0'd Knuckle Dew, 5-0'd Punk. This character is ridiculous, dude. It's so crazy. You know what, Sonics? You said, I love this about fighting games. We can spend months without knowing whether a character is strong or not. I knew he was strong from the very freaking beginning. I told people he was strong. I told people he was strong. I knew it from the beginning. I knew it all along. Wolfgang is a player who mains Blanka in just about every game, Psycho Damo, but he's also one of those lab monsters. And so like off of the level 2 or all these other crazy setups, he has the most ridiculous, gross setups and mix-ups possible. He put out one of those videos like, tell me how many times you got hit in the sequence. And I watched it. I was like, I got hit like 3 times. Wolfgang, yeah, their Blanka has the tech. Mena RD has the fundamentals. But that's the thing. Shenanigans and crazy tech and mix-ups are still valuable even with all of the knowledge in the world. Even if your opponent knows what's coming, as long as there's a valuable mix-up to it, as long as you keep it back and forth so that you're doing both, it's still very valuable to have. At Evo, Mena didn't have the tech. He had a couple of really cool things out there, but his breadth of knowledge of Blanka wasn't to the extent that Wolfgang had. It's just that Wolfgang doesn't have the fundamentals that Mena has. And trust me, I'm not trying to insult Wolfgang, because Wolfgang is my guy, is my human, is my person. I love Wolfgang, and I'm always sticking up for them. And so, but Wolfgang will probably tell you themselves that they're not up to the same level as Mena RD and fundamentals. Who would, right? So yeah, so well, I said Geef looks strong from the original video. When the game actually dropped and I played, I was like, Zangief sucks. As soon as I played him, I was like, Zangief sucks, okay? From the original videos that we saw before the game came out, I said Zangief looks strong. And then that was it. Do you guys think Blanka got favored by the nerfs to other top tiers? The nerfs to the other top tiers weren't significant enough. even without those nerfs, Blanka would still be destroying people right now. So Kuma Radio brings a good a good point here is how would we nerf Blanka? Well, first of all, OD airball shouldn't be plus on block. Like that, what? What? If Blanka Chan needs to cause massive scaling, just like Kimberly's spray can bomb. They were so scared of Kimberly's spray can bomb that when you get hit by one, all of your damage gets nerfed on a character who starts at 90% damage. When Blanka hits you with a Blanka Chan, he drains like 70% of your life if he decides to spend all of his resources. It's ridiculous. Standing roundhouse needs to be nerfed. That thing should never be a knockdown on counter hit or punish counter. There's no reason that he should get a free juggle off of that every single time on a counter hit or on a punish counter. And here's the thing is you don't want to nerf him to the point where he's useless. You don't want to take away the fun stuff. Like, you notice that I didn't sit here and say Blanka Chan needs to be nerfed. Blanka Chan shouldn't be nerfed. Like, what Blanka Chan does shouldn't be nerfed. What he gets you can be nerfed, aka the damage output. But if Blanka gets to keep all of his mix-ups, I say let him keep those mix-ups. I don't want to make the character less fun. Every time I talk about buffs and nerfs, or especially nerfs, the nerf is don't take away what they can do, take away what the result of it is. So Blanka Chan OD Blanka Ball doesn't give him any combos, right? If you hit with the OD Blanka Ball, he does the extra bounce and he hits, and he can't get any combos off of that. So that's fine, right? Just make it so that the hit stun is a little bit shorter. The block stun is shorter. Leave the hit stun alone so he can keep doing everything that he could do before. Just lower the block stun. Let's take a look. And again, I'm sorry I keep going this route because I'm on this, I think Kimberly is really bad train right now. But Kimberly's forward heavy kick, where she hops forward and kicks you, causes a 13 frame block stun. That's the same block stun as a lot of light attacks. Okay? Her forward heavy kick causes no block stun. It's a heavy button. This is something they can do, right? So if they just made it so that Blanka's OD, Blanka Ball in the air just caused very little block stun and maybe was even punishable, I think that's fine. You should be rewarded for reading that he's going to do that move, and you should be able to beat him, basically. You should be able to punish him for blocking a most ridiculous, I can jump backwards and do this move. Like, you can't even approach him when he jumps backwards because he could just Blanka Ball you out of nowhere. And if you know he's going to do that, what are you going to do? Perfect parry. Like, that's the only thing you can do to stop it. Otherwise, he's plus and has a mix-up. I feel like SF6 explosive damage that makes characters kill you in 2 to 3 touches has made damage nerfs bigger than usual. Yeah, like I said, I think the JP nerf on the OD Amnesia. I call it the OD Amnesia. I think that's what we should call it from now on. That's such a great name. The OD Amnesia. That's what I'm calling it from now on. I'm going to use that on commentary one of these days. It's the OD Amnesia. That's wonderful. Oh man. But yeah, I'm sorry. It's when we talk about damage nerfs, I just keep thinking about Kimberly, and she starts at 90% damage. I'm sorry. I'm really depressed about Kimberly recently. I've been really, really depressed about this character. And again, some guy was literally like, one of my favorite Twitter interactions recently, I was like, you should give Kimberly an OD wake up. And somebody responded to me, was like, oh, sure. Give a character that can have like 100% unblockable, burnout, corner, crazy mix-ups. Yeah, give her an ODDP. That sounds like a great idea. And my response to this person was, but Blanka is a he. And he already has an OD wake up. And the guy responded, "You got me there. LOL." That was it. Like, that was the end of the conversation right there. He was like, "Yep, okay." You know, that's the thing. Like I said, I know I have some extra bitterness towards Blanka that makes me think that he might be stronger than he actually is because he does. Maybe I should just play Blanka. Screw it. You know what? That's it. I'm going to learn Blanka at this point. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, this character is really, really strong. He's really ridiculous. And like I said, it just comes from the aesthetic that people don't play him as much. It really does. Like, I think if the character was just a different looking character, everything would be completely different, honestly. If we did the functions experiment and made a character that had all of Blanka's moves, but just looked different and didn't look like an angry monster with, goofiness and, he's wearing suspenders now and has plushes and stuff like that. Oh yeah, looks absolutely matter. It's always mattered. Can we fix Geef before we change other characters that actually function? Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like we need to buff a lot of characters. I mean, the crazy thing is, for me right now, I feel like the bottom 3 characters, I think the worst character is probably Manon. Sadly, I really think Manon is probably the worst character right now. Even though she kind of beats up Kimberly. I think Zangief is the second worst character in the game. And then I think Kimberly's the third worst character in the game at this point. And again, it's crazy because all 3 of those characters can clearly win. The number 1 person on CFN right now is a Manon player with 2,400 points. It's crazy. And clearly they all can win. Lily, Hibiki's Lily has obviously been up there. I have Lily as 4th worst, above Kimberly. Not much better than Kimberly, but at least she has actual mix-ups and range on her buttons. And then Jamie, who got a little buffed, and then Ryu, who got a little buffed. Same characters a little bit towards the bottom over there. Aki. No, Aki is strong in that situation over there. Honda, bottom 3, hard to say. I can't put my finger on Honda yet because, again, I don't think we have a Honda player that has the proper fundamentals that also have, like Ultra David tech. I really don't think we have a Honda like that right now. I think if we could find a player that could do, that can encompass both. And again, keep in mind, Ultra David's really strong, but Ultra David will be the first person to tell you that he's not like, he's not going to be at that level. Yeah, Ed is solid mid-tier. Aki is a little below mid-tier, I think. But I also think Aki is a little bit stronger than a lot of these other characters out here as well. But yeah, I think like all the characters are good. So when I say Kimberly is bottom 3, that's a little bit of my depression talking and a little bit of me thinking, and also to keep in mind that that doesn't mean she's bad, right? Like, I don't even think Manon is bad. I don't think Zangief is bad. But the sad thing is they both beat up Kimberly really badly. Both of these bad characters beat up Kimberly. And in fact, I don't even think that there's a single character that Kimberly beats. Like, if I actually look through this tier list, I don't think that there is a single character that I could say that Kimberly has a winning percentage over. Which actually might make her the worst character, because I know Zangief and Manon win over Kimberly. So, but then again, Manon and Zangief have particularly bad matchups. And I don't know if Kim has some really, really terrible matchups, honestly. Jesus, I don't know. Look, all I'm saying is that I just don't think Kimberly's that strong. But this is about Blanka. Blanka is very, very strong. And like I said, I think things would just be different if he just looked like a more serious character. If he had more badassness to him, then I think people would play him more. It's just really what it comes down to. So, in any case, that's all I really wanted to say about Blanka. So I'll go ahead and end it here. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. What do you guys on YouTube think Blanka's weakness is? Or are you guys like me that you're just like, you know what? Blanka is just super strong. Like, yeah, he is. He's just super strong. Yeah, just let me know what your opinions on Blanka are. And again, look, clearly a very, very strong character. Clearly a very strong character. Anyways, okay, I could go on about this all day because I'm bitter. But, you know, the day that this podcast graced your ears was the most important day of your life. But for me, I've been telling you, Blanka is top tier, huh? I've been telling you since the very, very beginning. People talking about Blanka as being top tier may be new to those guys. But for me...
It was Tuesday.